Hello, everybody. My name is David, and I'm going to come at this at a different way than what I normally have. You see, I live with an emotional disturbance in my body. Lots of people call it schizophrenia. I've had doctors tell me that it's multiple personalities, that's it's a image problem. Also, I got a little OCD. I have to do things a certain way each and every time. I've been underneath the doctor's care and within a psychiatric world ever since I was 55 years old. My journey started though when I was 54, but being seeing things and hearing things and living outside the world started at a very young age. Give you a concept about how long this has been going on in me is that for the last 54 years of my life, I have totally detached from reality. I had no concept of good or bad or any of this stuff. And because of this, I really did not start living till I was about 54 years old when I met a great someone on the beach and I had a day of talking to them and they connected to me and I connected to them and I was able to attach myself emotionally back into the living world. If you don't know what that's like, think of a person that says that when it's happening, they're outside their body. They see it all happening, but it's moved away from them. Well, that's the way it was with me. I'm outside of my body. I can see things going on, but I have no control over it. And after a while, my memory gets wiped of all this terrible stuff going on, and it makes it hard for me to remember it. In the meantime, I've got an eidetic memory. Do you know how much of stress and problems that put on my mind? Yes, I got eidetic memory. It's more associated with audio than it is visual, but nonetheless, it's there. You say a certain word, and my mind just goes right back there. I'm sure that you've watched Big Bang Theory and you've seen Sheldon sometimes. Certain words get put in his mind and he goes someplace totally different before he comes back. It's like a blink of an eye, but he still goes there and comes back. And that's the way it is with me. I hear something and I can go back. As far as I can remember was a time when I was a little child and we were moving from one place to another in a bus station. And I remember the song coming on, Johnny Be Good. Now, I liked that song. I stood up, I started dancing to it. A little bald head, I pulled the hair on top of my head and started jostling around in a circle, making everybody laugh, and I like that. I remember that. Lots of people say, no, it's your parents and all telling you about that. No, I remember that. It's a physical thing. But the reality is that yes, according to clinical psychologists and psychiatrists, I am schizophrenic. I have schizophrenic disorder. I also have OCD. I have multiple personalities. I can switch from one personality to another. I have anger issues. I have very high emotions issues. Anybody touching to me emotionally, I detach myself. So whatever happens in that emotion, I'm not there. To give you an example, I've been married 3 times, and not one of those times did I fully have an emotional attachment to any of my wives. That is the truth, because I emotionally detach. Yeah, I can still see what's going on. I just can't control it. Same thing with my family. I had so much loathing for my family till I would do things deliberately to disturb and upset them just so they would hate me, which would give me a reason to run off again. Because, see, that's my mode. Each one of us, as a schizophrenic, we have our escape mode. Some people it builds up to the point where they want to take their lives, and that's not acceptable. Others becomes drugs, alcohol, coffee, cigarettes, all these other little things that we use as a stimulus to take us away from our problem. And that's not good either. It's all right to have those tools, but you can't use it to harm yourself. Mine was always running away. Unfortunately, well, fortunately for myself, I consider myself a professional laborer. Means I can help a carpenter, mason, electricians, gardeners, whatever, all over. So I could go to labor pools or whatever, and I could get instantly hired out. No problem, because I was a professional laborer. That's how I kept my living up. But running my mode was not taking my life, even though I got frustrated a few times and thought about doing it, got re-hospitalized, and had to go through all the processes again. And then I played the field to get myself released, just so I can go back to being what I was doing and off my meds, saying the same thing. The meds are against me, the doctor's against me, the world's against me. That's part of my psychosis, part of my diagnosis that lets me know that I am schizophrenic. But I also like to call it not schizophrenic, but emotional wellness. See, I had problems there. Since I was detached from my emotions, everything to do with my schizophrenia, I could not deal with. And I'm like so many of you, I don't like that thing of thinking mental illness, because then I think nobody wants to have nothing to do with me. And I am a very personal person. I need to have that touch, that kindness of touching to other people. And I begin to realize that yes, I got a schizoaffective disorder and I got the symptoms for it. But those symptoms come from a greater place, and that was from emotional detachment. So emotionally, I had to heal myself before I could attack the schizoaffective problems and realize that they're both put together the same thing. And now I call myself an ambassador for emotional wellness because I think there's other people out there that like me that have finally realized that they've been having emotional breakdowns that stimulated the schizoaffective problems. And by dealing with their emotional problems, they can deal with this schizophrenia or the problems and the insights that's coming into that. Now, unfortunately, the doctors and all like that, they're still having to deal with the clinical side of this. Well, I'm not a doctor and I'm not dealing with the clinical side, but I have gone through peer support. I have gone through years of sitting in classrooms where it's open to public auditors to sit in there and listen to them. And I've taken these social courses, also taken business courses, everything. But I did this try to improve myself socially. So even though I may not have a college degree, may never have one, it doesn't make any difference. What makes a difference is that I have a fundamental understanding of what's going on. I've even studied the brain and process of the brain functions and the higher level and the lower level of the brain, different parts of it. I've also understand that There's certain chemical imbalance that happens in the brain that causes the schizoaffective disorder. And being diabetic now, and with other problems that come up with diabetes, I understand and can see how all this is related. Now, I cannot go back and undo being schizophrenic. I will always do that. I always hear things and see things. And I know where it all got started. I know how to begin. And later on, I'll get into telling you about how this began. But I've been listening to a doctor or a psychiatrist. She's going through her master's and she's going to have a doctorate. It's a YouTube channel, Living Well with Schizophrenia. Now, this woman, she talks so closely to the same things that I've gone through. I feel like I'm a step behind, ahead of her, but at the same time, feel like I'm a step below her. I like to sit down and really pick her brains and let her pick mine. It's not because I think I'm smarter than she is or wiser. It's because I've got a different outlook than she does, and she has a different outlook than I do. And I think we both can grow from exchanges of what's going on. Now, I have no prejudice against people of any kind. So I don't care if she's a woman or man that's going through this. I understand these different processes that we have to go through in order to get ourselves to become stable in the world. And there's certain words that I've thrown out of my vocabulary. And one is mental illness. I want to throw that totally out. I like the idea of stop the stigma and call it emotional well-being. Sometimes we have an emotional disturbance in our life that elevates itself to being schizoaffective problems, but it's just emotional. Then again, sometimes the schizoaffective thing is so highlighted in emotional well-being till it's hard to distinguish between the two. Very hard, very hard. But either way, I'm here for you. For the other people, I want you to reach out to me. Tell me, come to my YouTube channel, leave me a question, leave me a something that you're going through. I might not be able to help. She may not be able to help. But by sharing what we've gone through, we may be able to help each other. You see, I've gone through peer support training too. And even though I successfully was second in my class and graduating, I don't feel like I had the full thing. So I've had to do other online peer support, looking at it, understanding what it is, in order to elevate myself to the next level. I'm poor boy, I can't go to all these classes and stuff like that. And at my age, it's not going to benefit many by me going through there except being more in debt and not able to pay it off. So I'm satisfied where I'm at. In the meantime, I want to talk to others about their stability or what they're going through, and maybe we can help each other. So contact me, let me know, and maybe we could contact each other by email. Then maybe we can do a Skype or something with each other. I don't care about all that. All I care about is growing and becoming more and more stable. And by me becoming more stable, maybe you can be more stable, which comes to my next phrase I'm throwing out. There is no such thing as normal in this world. Normal does not exist. And I'm finding that out more through my diabetes. What's right and normal in diabetics may not be right for me because we all work differently. So I have to do it according to what my body says is right. And doctors may think it's weird, but it works. Yes, I have my moments where I fall out, but I've got it still under control. I'm an old man now, 68 years old, so I ain't got much longer to live. But for the other people coming up that's going through this, maybe I can help you out. And living well with schizophrenia, I know about the keto diet. You see, on diabetes, one thing we learned is about protein and carbs, and keto diet is best for this. Yes, I monitor my blood sugar like they want you to do too. So we've got lots of things in common, but yet we've got lots of things that are different. Each and every one of us out there. But we are a community. We are a community with voting rights. We are a community with political power. Most people don't know it, but we are a minority with a majority of the votes. Politically, I laugh at that because once we do come together, you'll find out that people from the VA, the homeless, and all like that, that's all been diagnosed with mental problems, mental illness, and all like this, we are a pretty large society, larger than most regular people. That kind of gets me laughing a little bit because I see the greatness in what we could do. We could control the political landscape, and politicians know this very well too. They know that if we ever got into our right minds and come together, we could vote ways that put most senators and congressmen out of office in a heartbeat. I kind of laugh at that because my mind's playing off the scenarios of what could happen. But let me get back to this. I am an ambassador for emotional wellness. I've gone through the programs, I've gone through the medications, and my last doctor let me opt off of my medication. And I've been off my medication now for several years. I still have touch with them, where if I need to go back, I could. And I use that as my crutch, knowing that yes, I can. But if I don't need to, I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to keep climbing out of this big hole I dug for 54, 55 years of my life. And hopefully, I can offer a hand to somebody and help them up out of that same hole that we all been in. Anyway, leave me your questions, leave me your ideas, and get in touch with me. This ain't about popularity or trying to earn money. I don't want that. What I want to see is others like myself have a happier life than what they have right now. They have a little hope that things can get better. That matters more to me than anything else. Putting that hope back into your heart. This is David for Ambassadors for Emotional Wellness. Thank you very much.